Hi, my name is Gail Goode, and I'm running for the United States Senate for the state of New York. Now, a lot of folks may not know me because, unfortunately, the Democratic Party would like to pretend there's not going to be a primary, and so would my junior senator. But 45,000 New Yorkers out of 24 congressional districts signed a petition to put me on the ballot. That's 45,000 folks, as opposed to our junior senator, where one person decided that she was qualified to run, and that one person was Governor Patterson. Now, I'm running, folks, because I believe that New Yorkers should have a primary, and this is not a protest vote. I'm running because I believe I am the superior candidate. I have been a progressive Democrat my whole life. For 24 years, I have been an advocate for the city of New York. I have been fighting for regular folks. I started out my legal career in 1986 as a prosecutor for the Bronx District Attorney's Office, and I handled all career criminals from homicides on down if it was a violent crime. After that, I did 14 years of defense work for the New York City Transit Authority, and again, I defended regular people, train operators, bus operators, escalator repairmen. I defended regular folks, and now I'm Deputy Borough Chief for the City of New York, which we like to call the largest law firm in New York City, and I defend all city agencies. That's police officers, EMS workers, teachers, firemen, anyone that says a worker has been negligent or didn't do their job properly. That is who I defend. And I've always believed that regular people deserve to have a good lawyer for them, and I've always done my best. I started out defending regular people in the Bronx who had terrible things happen to them. And because I handled violent crimes, I've always been consistent in my view of gun control. I never had to think about it as our junior senator, because I've seen personally what a 45 can do, what a 357 can do, what a 22 can do. And I lived in the South Bronx, and I worked in the South Bronx. I rode the subways, and never once did I sleep with guns under my bed. And never will I receive a 100% rating from the NRA, as our junior senator has. Now the Brady folks are deciding that she's a wonderful candidate, but this person decided in 2009 that now she's pro-gun control. I've always been pro-gun control. I've also believed in some sort of comprehensive immigration program. Folks, I believe that people should come here legally. However, we cannot send 11.2 million people back, and the children that are born here are citizens. That is part of our right. It's in the 14th Amendment. Now, our junior senator, when she was a congresswoman, believed that there should be no amnesty at all for immigrants under any circumstances. But hey, she learned, you know what, that doesn't play downstate, so now she's changed her mind. I've never defended big tobacco companies, and I've never tried to tell folks that, you know, we didn't do something wrong. When I had cases of the Transit Authority, for example, I handled the Union Square derailment. I actually tried cases to verdict. We admitted that we did something wrong. We didn't hide it or try to tell people that we didn't have the derailment. As our junior senator did when she was working for big tobacco, she likes to say that, oh, I didn't really want to work there. I didn't want to do those big tobacco cases, but she had a choice, and that's what she wanted to do, and she tried to hide the fact that tobacco was addictive. So, I mean, these are things that are very significant. Gay marriage. Our junior senator was not for gay marriage in the beginning, but I always have been. I'm married to someone of a different race, and if you know the case People v. Loving, you'll know that's a case of a black woman who's going to marry a white man. And the same arguments they use today about what about the children, it's not natural, how can we do this, it's bad for marriage, same arguments they're making today, but a human being is a human being. And as I always like to say, I have enough control with my own love life. I don't have time to think about someone else. If you're an adult, you love that person, get married. Because the most important thing affecting New Yorkers now are jobs and terrorism. Those are significant issues. We don't need to be fighting over little things. And our junior senator is excellent at getting money for herself. She has a $10 million war chest, and when she ran in 2008, she had a $9 million war chest, and she spent $2 million more than the person she was up against. So as I said, she's very good at getting money for herself, but not so good for New Yorkers. New Yorkers have not done well under her. And our public transportation system, which I believe in strongly, we've lost money under her. And why is that? Was she so busy getting money for herself that she forgot that we should have money for public transportation? One of the cases I also handled for the Transit Authority was the Fulton Street firebombing, where a homegrown terrorist decided to handle the tried to hold the transit system hostage. And because we had station agents, they were in the old days called token booth clerks, who was able to, inside his booth, through the 6-wire, get the cops, the firemen, EMS there quickly. We had less fatalities than we would have. Now, that station, which is a hub, because it's the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the A, the C, if we didn't have that station agent, it would have been worse. We have lost 200 station agents. Station agents are the eyes and ears of the transit system. This city will shut down if we don't have a transit system, and it's not good for the state either. That's one of the reasons why I believe in a high-speed rail system, because I think we need to have public transportation throughout the state. I think that we should be able to get from Albany to New York very quickly. I think that that's something that's important, but one of the problems is that the railing, meaning the freight trains and the passenger trains run on the same rails oftentimes, and so we have to oftentimes, if you've ever taken a train, we have to wait for the freight train to switch tracks and then let them go, and then we get to go. That is not good for the transit system. We don't need to be depending on foreign oil. We need to get away from that. So we need to build up our transit system. We need to build up our infrastructure. We need to rebuild our highways, make sure that everything is running smoothly. They had articles in the Times where we're starting to tear down roads because we can't maintain them. That's not good for America. And remember, it was a train system that allowed America to move into the industrial age. So this is something that's very important, and we need to move away from our big cars and depending on foreign oil. Those things are significant. But you know what else is very important, folks? You need to have a leader that you can believe in. Someone who believes in what she says. Because you have to remember this. There was only one person that said Kirsten Gillibrand was qualified for that job, and that was David Paterson. Oh yeah, there were some couple of Democratic insiders. There was Alphonse D'Amato, because when she was sworn in, Alphonse D'Amato was on that stand like a Cheshire cat. Those are the folks that said Kirsten Gillibrand was qualified to run. Where 45,000 people out of 24 congressional districts said that I should be the person to be on the ballot. Now, there were other folks who were qualified who could have run also, but they were pushed out. That was Maloney, McCarthy, Israel, Ford. All those folks were pushed out, and they were told Kirsten Gillibrand is not to have a primary. Now, why is that? Out of 19 million New Yorkers, she's the only person that's qualified. One thing you have to remember, folks, that this is the seat that was held by Hillary Rodham Clinton. This is the seat that was held by Daniel Patrick Moynihan. This is the seat that was handled by Bobby Kennedy. So you're telling me that Kirsten Gillibrand is qualified to walk in those shoes? I think not. Kirsten Gillibrand is too afraid to debate me. Last week we had an incident in Queens where she was supposed to be speaking and she was 2 hours late and she didn't bother to talk to anyone, didn't apologize. And I said, what about a debate? Well, her people came along and ushered away. They wanted no issue about debate because I like to pretend that there isn't a primary. But folks, on September 14th, there is going to be a primary. And remember, don't leave your common sense outside. That's what they expect you to do when you go into the voting booth. And vote for the person who was selected by one person, David Paterson. Or would you rather have the person who 45,000 New Yorkers said you're qualified? Because you know what? At the end of the day, you as New Yorkers get to decide who your candidate is. Don't let David Paterson be the person to decide who should be your candidate. Don't let Alphonse D'Amato be the person to decide who your candidate is. Don't let someone outside of New York State decide this is your candidate. Someone who, forget about flip-flopping, who has done triple Lutz, who's done flip-flops on issues. Now she likes to paint herself as a progressive Democrat, but the woman was proud to say that she had a 100% rating by the NRA. This woman was proud to say that she was more conservative than anyone else. So she's not good, she's not faithful or loyal to her people upstate. And when David Paterson had a little bit of a problem, she was very quick to throw him under the bus and say, you shouldn't run. So she's not going to be loyal to the folks who voted her upstate. And she's not going to be loyal to the man who plucked her out of obscurity. And she's got a $10 million war chest from people other than regular people. Who do you think she's going to be loyal to? Folks, Remember September 14th, and remember November 2nd. You want a real person. You want someone who's credible. You want someone who's worked for everything she's had, because no one gave me anything. I had to work for everything, something our junior senators not accustomed to. You make the choice, New Yorkers. Don't leave your common sense outside that voting booth, and vote for a real New Yorker. Vote for a real progressive. Vote for someone who's fiscally conservative, because I have protecting the city's money also for almost 20 years. That's who you want as your candidate, I hope. So folks, remember that on September 14th and use your common sense. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is Gail Goode. Remember the primary. Thank you.